You are listening to the Estheticians Earning More podcast with Brittany Hageman, episode number 189. Happy Monday. Welcome back. Do you want to double your business in 1 year? Are you an esthetician solo business owner that is very, very tired because you are working for every single dollar that you earn? Are you making between $5,000 and $7,000 a month consistently in your esthetician business? And the only way that you can see that you can make more money is to add more hours? Is the money going out of your business just as fast as it's coming in? Do you feel like you're on the verge of burnout? Do you not understand how other estheticians can actually make a profit? If you say yes to any of these questions, I can help you. In my one-to-one 6-month individualized coaching program, I will teach you to double your business in 1 year. I combine proven strategies and business systems along with mindset coaching to teach you how to change the systems in your business that aren't making you money. My clients that have incorporated all of these systems into their business consistently have seen phenomenal results. If you're interested in working with me, use the link in the show notes. I cannot wait to meet you. I am so excited to be back with you again today. I want to talk about something that I have seen for years. Honestly, I've seen it since I was working as an esthetician when I had my acne business in San Diego. And I've talked about this in different ways on the podcast, and it's one of the main reasons that I started this coaching business is because I saw so many estheticians around me that were working so hard and just paying their bills, and every single dollar was accounted for until the next month. And I was working hard, but I didn't have the level of exhaustion and burnout that they did when I was fully booked. Now, if you're building your business, is a different kind of work, and you can get burned out from that. And I did definitely experience that multiple times. And you have your own frustrations when you are building a business. So, but if you're fully booked, there are two different types of working hard that I see with esthetician business owners, and one makes a hell of a lot more money than the other. Okay, so when I talk to estheticians, like I said before, I have a lot of discovery calls, talk to a lot of different estheticians, learning about their business, learning about what challenges they have, how they're making money, things like that. And something that I see consistently across the board over and over and over again is that a lot of estheticians have many different services so that they can try to make as much money as possible. But the downside to that is they tend to work a lot harder for their money than estheticians that specialize, niche down, and can grow their business in that way. So this is what I see. I see estheticians who maybe have like a regular facial and maybe a higher advanced treatment facial. And they also offer face waxing, maybe even Brazilian. They also offer lash extensions. They also offer lash tints and eyebrow tints and lash lifts. And they have literally all of these things. Like that is the most consistent thing that I see with esthetician business owners. And most of those estheticians don't sell a lot of product. Not a hard and fast rule. I've definitely had clients and seen people who do sell a lot of product when they do a business model like that. But a lot of times they don't because they are focusing on their services to bring money in, and they're working really hard for each service that they provide. And they get clients that like the different services sometimes, like they have an eyebrow wax and a facial or an eyelash lift and a facial. And so it feels really good to keep doing these services. Now, I'm not saying you have to like delete these services. I think this is a case by case situation, but this is what I see happen. They have these certain clients that are lash clients, lash extension, lash lifts, that this kind of group tends to be this way. Like, of course, this is not a hard and fast rule. And the esthetician themselves takes more time to do these services, a lash extension, lash lift, all of these services that cost the client so much less than a facial, and so much less than a facial where they're buying product. Like, they're making $65 on a lash extension and they make $125 on a facial and could sell them $100 worth of product. So just that example right there, and that $65 lash extension takes them an hour and 15 minutes to do once they do like everything. And the facial takes them an hour and 15 minutes to do once they do the facial and clean up. So right there, you can see how they are working so much harder. They have to make the same, like to make money. There's that service that is the facial and the products. So over $200. In the same amount of time, they're doing a lash extension and making $65. The esthetician is afraid to lean into the skincare or the things that are making them the money. And they're afraid of letting go these loyal clients that come in for their lashes or lash lifts or whatever it is. Again, I'm not saying do this overnight. This is not an overnight thing. This is a long-term plan. This is something that we are working on over time. But we're constantly afraid in this state of afraid to double down, decide, I'm going to focus on skincare. I'm going to focus on product sales. I'm going to focus on this. And instead, we allow ourselves to believe that this is what an esthetician business should look like, and this is just the money that you can make. Now, you can make money doing lash extensions. You can make money doing lash lifts, things like that. You have to be really fast. You have to be really fast and really good. I kind of like equate it to like a Brazilian wax business. You can make a ton of money doing Brazilian wax if you're fast and good. But if it takes you a long time to do it, you're not going to make any money. If it takes you a long time to do a lash lift, you are losing money. You're paying the client to be there. Now, of course, you're like, well, I wouldn't be booked otherwise. Yes. So don't get rid of that client. But in the time that you're not seeing clients, you need to focus completely on the things that are going to make you money and building that and building your confidence, building that strength. So let's say that facials is where you need to focus your time. You focus on learning product sales so that when you get new facial clients, product sales is the top of the conversation without being salesy in a weird way. You learn how to be the best esthetician that does a facial in your area so that there's nowhere else they would want to go. You lean in hard to that. But then fear is the thing that creeps in. And I have found that when fear creeps in and we're scared, it is much easier to do the business where you're doing all the services, not making a lot of money, taking an hour to do a lash lift or whatever. I'm just making this up. I don't know if this is exactly anyone told me that, but you lean into that because you're like, it's money. And it's scarier to be like, yeah, I'm going to keep doing this until I don't have to keep doing this, but I'm leaning into what I really want to do. If you've been listening to this podcast for a while, you know, this is what I did. I did makeup, I did waxing, I did other things, lots of facials that wasn't what I wanted to do, which I knew was going to make the most money, which was acne. So I still did those services. I still was great on those clients. I still woke up at the crack of dawn 2 to 3 days a week to go and do makeup and listen to bossy bridesmaids and mother-in-laws that were, awful. If you've done makeup, you know. It's usually not the bride. It's usually everybody but the bride. Usually the bride's like, I'm sorry for my family and friends. So I still did that for a really long time. But all of my marketing, everything that you heard from me was acne. I did not post before and afters for my makeup every weekend. I just didn't because I didn't want more makeup clients. I didn't have to find makeup clients and I worked for someone, which was, again, also a great idea. Like, I didn't have to make that work. And so I was very strategic with how I knew money was coming in and then how I was focusing my time that I wasn't booked to get booked with the people I wanted to be booked with. And then also during that time, I spent a lot of time learning how to do product sales through a lot of trial and error. I was just telling a client this week, like, so many returned products. So many people didn't like the product I recommended and it wasn't the right fit for them. And so I had to learn so much. I lost a lot of money. But because of that, I got really good at understanding who would do well with what products, to the point that no one ever returned products in my last full year working in my business. Like, it never happened because I was so good. I knew exactly. But that was because it wasn't because of any classes I took. It wasn't even really being on the Facebook groups, which sometimes it did help me, but it was giving products to people, seeing what happened, and then making adjustments and learning from it. And this is painful. This will deter a lot of people. They're like, that's it. I'm not selling products anymore. This is too stressful. That's it. I'm not going to keep doing this. This is too hard. But that is a different type of working hard. You're working hard either way. You're either working hard doing services that are not making you money, that are just very time consuming, and you cannot increase your income, or you're working hard doing a lot of trial and error and a lot of failing. And I say failing lightly, like just things not working the way you expected them to work, not actual fail. Like, I got really good at extractions. Like, I always feel, now I still feel nervous saying that because whenever I say that, then people DM me, like, can you teach me to do extractions? No, you have to do them. Like, you have to do that. Like, I don't think I did anything. I didn't learn it from anything. I learned a little bit from the woman I worked for in the first 2 weeks I watched her. But the reason I got so good is because I did so many and I did so many bad extractions and had to learn from them. So you want to get good extractions, do a lot of extractions. And then when the extractions don't work, figure out why. Figure out what you did to make it not work. When the extraction does work really well, figure out why, pay attention. The amount of people, especially when I first started working as an esthetician, when I worked for someone else, and even when I was in my own business, that would message me and be like, that one pimple that you extracted, it's so much bigger today. You know why it was bigger? Because I didn't get everything. I'm like, oh my gosh, come in right now. I'll fix it. I'll extract it again. That happened a lot. It happened a lot until it stopped happening. And why did it stop happening? Because I was willing to keep trying and feel the sting and embarrassment when someone was like, hey. And I got really good. Same thing, like I just said before, same thing with product sales. Same thing with putting peels on people. When I first started working, I worked for someone who was very great and did a great job at doing very heavy peels. So I tried to do some of those heavy peels and it was not a great outcome. People's skin was falling off. It was okay. They were fine, but it just was not what I expected or they did. And I had to learn. I had to learn the hard way. Even though I learned all the same things everybody else does, that's when I was like, oh. But I was willing to work hard and be a student of myself. And I was willing to try it again and again and again until I figured it out. And that's a lot of work. That's a lot of mental work. It's a lot of emotional work. It's a lot of putting yourself out there and knowing it's not going to go the way that you want it to go. But the only way you're going to get it to go the way you want it to go is if you get really good at it not going the way you want it to go, so that you can figure out how to make it work. I think we have this expectation that people who make a lot of money in esthetician businesses don't work that hard. But they do work hard, they just work hard differently than people who aren't making money. They're really focusing on connection with their clients. They're really focusing on product sales and doing a phenomenal job in their service. And they know they're good. And if they don't know they're good, they spend time getting really good and then leaning into that belief. It feels better to be busy, booked with clients, and not making a lot of money than it does spending a lot of your time doing things, trying things, and it not working the way you want it to work and doing it again. It feels a lot better just to be like, hands are busy, right? Like a client, And so estheticians will just continue to grow the business of being busy and booked, even though it's not profitable. As opposed to looking at it and being like, I love doing lash lifts. I have great clientele that does lash lifts. I have to get faster at this because an hour for a lash lift is not working. Or an hour and a half for an eyelash extension fill is not working. It doesn't work. If it takes you that long, if you're brand new, that's fine, but you need to get faster quickly. You need to get faster. You need to get on that. You need lots of models and friends coming in. You need to figure it out. And that's the work that a lot of people will avoid. Because you know what? There's a good chance you're going to work really hard to get better at your lash lifts. And it's going to be frustrating and it's not going to work the way you want it to work, but you think will help. And you're going to have to try something else. You're going to have to get another training or something like that. I remember, I think I've told the story how I took a makeup lesson. And I worked with like one of the best makeup artists in San Diego, bridal, and she was teaching me for free. Like there was no reason I needed to take another makeup lesson. But I wanted to feel like I had skills beyond what she taught me. And it was really about trying to build my confidence. And then I went to the training. I did learn things, but it was really expensive. It was like over $3,000. And I told her about it, and she was like, why didn't you just ask me about the things that you needed help with? I'm like, oh, well, because I didn't want to look stupid or like I wasn't good. She was like, oh my gosh, no, I'm always happy to teach you more. And at that time I realized I'm letting my ego come in the way of what actually makes sense. So is that happening with you? Is your ego coming in the way, in your own way? And it makes more sense for you to work hard in ways that are actually going to help you make more money. But you're telling yourself, your ego is, telling you well, it's better to be booked making very little money than it is focusing on things that I could not be super successful at for a while. And when you think about it, and again, if you were in the camp where you'd rather just be booked and busy and not being really profitable, if that's where you are, I'm not saying this at a judgment. This is just what I've seen in the industry. It's kind of what we're taught in school. But you can change. You can decide you're going to work hard in a different way. I believe you can. Okay, I'll talk to you next week. Have a fantastic week. Bye for now.